midst of other teams, and that's a position of power that I guess everybody wants to be in.
Well, they are. We can see they will, like you said, start on the CT again. They've just gone for a very armor-based approach, only because they're rocking a kit at the moment, and pretty much the same thing from Immunity, though perhaps a few more utility grenades in the hands of James this time than we would have seen on Inferno, but they're holding very, very deep at the moment. I'm not sure if they know something we don't, and perhaps we're expecting some sort of aggression here, particularly in mid from Vox, but we can certainly see that that's not the case, as Vox have gone for a standard 2-on-2 setup. Playing retake today with 2 members towards the ticket box. So as those smokes and flashes rain in, it is just a fake. So James and also one of his teammates there in Sniper, the two that did invest in utility grenades, they'll move into the A side. But let's keep our eyes on B, which is certainly where RBZ's focused on, as Moe does clean up the A fake. But you can see here, Sicko and RBZ, the 2 new recruits, they're putting up a lot of resistance at the moment. So whilst Imag does eventually drop RBZ, look at the rotation time that it's bought. So fantastic job there by Vox, shutting down the fake today and then allowing their complete team really to focus on shutting down that B execute when it did come in. I love that play by Vox there. Great work.
Yeah, great work by Moe and RBZ at their respective sites. RBZ just delaying things long enough for his teammates to come through, and Moe just cleaning up anyone that came through A. So good work respectively. And getting in that first round, that key round, as we see Team Immunity just bunch up in this palace here. They do have a man at top mid. I think it's Sniper just on that info play for his team, as they do stream out the palace here, and Sniper late into CT con is going to try and collect someone if they're not too aware, as he does actually do that to Moe. And in the meantime though, the cleanup crew is at CT ramp. They love it.
I'm actually really surprised there that we didn't see Immunity invest it all into that round. I mean, we saw in Inferno the fact that they were able to win 2 compromised buys or forced buy scenarios, and I think that they would have been, or would have thought they would have been very keen to keep the economic pressure on Vox, but as it is, they went the 5 Glocks, and it's allowed Vox to not only build up another round in their bank, but also start to build up some confidence and also the financial accolades that follow.
Financial accolades.
That works.
You've been making a lot of words up tonight. Adventurism. I like that one. Sniper does his best to dodge that grenade there at CT ramp, and in the meantime though, they're sending members to the underpass. James has managed to get behind Moe, and no one had eyes on that CT con, so they do stream onto this A site, and now just the 2 members at CT ticket box to try and defend it, as Justillo does get taken down, but he does get that bomb down for his team, so that's money in the bank, money in those coffers, as Sicko does get lurked here from underpass. RBZ does a good job of clearing out the window room, and just 1 member to contend with now in James on that T ramp, as Sicko, or should I say RBZ, does pick up that frag. So a buy will come in from Team Immunity here.
I've got no idea how Moe was caught off guard there. I'm not sure who was meant to be watching mid, whether it was Sicko at short or perhaps the responsibility was Moe himself. I'm not sure where the downfall lay, but there was definitely a clear miscommunication there and a clear mistake made by the team, because there should no way in any sort of universe should be getting caught off guard there when the team's completely eco, able to walk down mid and walk up mid-con without getting spotted. But as it is, that bomb plan that they did get will help Team Immunity in this instance, just to afford those extra utility grenades. So we can see Ricker has opted for the AWP very early on here. So we spoke about his CT prowess. Let's keep an eye out for what he can bring on the T side. Certainly it'll be just as fearsome, you'd have to imagine. But Immunity doing a good job at the moment in at least getting their forces to the top of mid quite safely. Richard looks like he did take that AWP towards the B side early on, so he will back off now, perhaps not able to get that early frag that he would have liked, and I think he'll be bolstered by the confidence that having mid does aid you. You can see that he's really going to have his choice of spots to pick. It does look as though he will move along the catwalk and pick into A, perhaps, if it's not smoked off, or even short itself does turn out to be. Vox playing very deep in the sights at the moment, Jim.
That's it, but they do have mid control, and I do believe they're going to try and punch a hole in either CT con or short, depending on where they get that pick. But they do have a man, more importantly, in that vent room. Ricker with that AWP, as Cossie does pick up a double frag in this CT con there. Simply just shooting him in the back, not aware of his presence. So already there, 2-man down. Moe locking down CT ramp, or should I say T ramp, with that AWP. And just Sicko, knowing that Ricker is there, just cleans him up from behind. And now Justillo a long way away from where his team is. There's a lot of work to do. Great round from Cossie with the triple. Vox Eminor are starting to bring things back, and they need to get every round that they can.
That's right. We guarantee that every Legacy player, fan and supporter will be fist pumping at the moment at the fact that Vox Eminor have just started to get on a little bit of a roll. Not just 4 rounds, but crucially, the manner in which they're winning their rounds. You can see that Immunity only have 4 frags between them at the moment. So I think that goes to say how much Vox have been dominating what we've seen so far. They picked up the first gun round, but Immunity can afford to force buy and have opted to force buy. Ricky will have to go without a proper gun though, just has the deed in hand. And you can see perhaps a bit of a retake A strat coming in from CT side because they are very deep in the site. So perhaps those smokes might be well positioned enough to block off their vision. Oh, great work there by, I think it was Sniper, ripping the head off Koze though. He was a little bit too inquisitive, wanting to see what was coming his way. But at the moment, Vox withstanding the pressure that's been applied to them. Sitko rotates very quickly to mid-con, and I think as soon as that smoke dissipates, it's really going to allow himself and Moe to move in and put a little bit more pressure on this A site, where at the moment Sniper's just having his way. He's got 1 HP, and whilst he was standing in flames, he could not have timed that any better in terms of when he moved out of them. 1 health point to his name, and he's still proving a menace. He's got 3 for the round. Can he get a 4th here? It's all left up to Moe, and he misses his shot. And crucially, Immunity get on the board, but fantastic job there. Sniper actually finished with a 4K in the end.
Yeah, 4K, 1 HP. That is the ultimate outcome for him, really. I mean, getting another frag where you're on 1 HP, picked up the double at CT ramp there and just stood inside the flames, and you'd think maybe if he stood in, you know, an inch to his left, he would have taken 1 more damage or whatnot. That could have been a very different round. So, Immunity get themselves into this match finally, and now Vox Eminor obviously is affording a buy still. Are going to contest these key choke points there, but their economy is still very fragile as Moe gets caught in that mid window there. That AWP does go down, so key man for Vox Eminor falls early in the picture, and Team Immunity are just going to back off a little bit now in mid.
They're doing a really good job though, aren't they, when they do decide to take mid control. Whilst they did lose the first gun round, they were effective at least in setting themselves up well in mid, and Ricker makes a fantastic shot there onto the trailing Koze, who was almost, I think, could hear Ricker falling back and wanted to keep pace with him as he charged down the A ramp there, or pit as some people refer to it. But it's really left Vox in a tough situation here. 3 on 5, all the map control going the way of Immunity. The only thing Vox have in their favour is the fact that Immunity are setting up for B, and Sitko has still decided to stick with the B side. So both RBZ and Sitko are there. Having said that though, I can see him now just falling back into the checkers. So Emad will be the first one out. Jumps out the side, and whilst blind, somehow manages to turn around and drop RBZ. And why not have Sitko as well? He probably deserves it after that first frag. So great job by Emad. And Immunity starting to look strong now. Didn't lose a member this round. At least not yet. It's all left up to Nova, but they know his position now, and they'll be quick to take him down, you'd have to say. They're swarming on him. They can hear that unsilenced hold. The Poseidon goes down into the underground. Probably quite fitting in that regard, but does fall now as James gets that final frag, and that's probably going to throw a spanner into the works for the economy of Vox, and surely we'll see an eco coming out from them now.
I'm not so sure how that grenade only did 3 damage though. You really got to be feeling ripped off there if you're Nova, because that was flush on top of his head, and I mean, it almost hit his leg nearly. I mean, Shane Watson would be still calling for a review on that one. That's Vox Eminor now on a full eco. They do have some upgraded pistols here, there, and everywhere, but Sitko showing us that they are a massive threat, even on pistols. Is he does collect Ricker there. That AWP does fall, so maybe there was a bit of justice for what happened last round, but they are going to stream onto this A site. That bomber's going to make its way back through T spawn, and they're going to put a lot of pressure here on the A defenders. James picks up a double for his trouble as they now take control of the A site. That poor man in Sediko and Sitko, the man with the deagle that did the damage with Ricker, is going to be called on to try and make something happen here, but don't know if any deagle magic is likely here.
Can I just say, Sniper is a master magician when it comes to HP management. He's got 4 health points at the moment. He had 1 health point the round, I think only 1 or 2 prior. So he's doing a fantastic job at the moment of making sure he's still alive at the end of the rounds. It's actually a skill that's probably a little bit underrated, in all sincerity, in terms of survivability of players. It really just gives you that many more potential options as a team in those late round scenarios. So he's doing a great job at the moment. And Immunity's starting to fight back now. They've won 3 rounds in a row. This will be a buy round coming out here from Vox Eminor. Now, crucially, I think, given their financial state, we will just see 5 rifles across the board, so you can instantly see each player's preference for silenced or unsilenced. But look at the aggression coming out here from Vox. It's caught James off guard. He takes a lot of damage, eventually complete damage in the sense that he has gone down, but he's still with a nice trade frag onto Nova. But you can see Vox still persisting with the pressure in top mid. They haven't yet fallen back. RBZ taking his time, throwing another utility grenade or 2 before deciding to run down Catwalk, I think, and bolster some of these B-site defenses, because we can see in a 4-on-4 situation, they do have the HP advantage, so they'll be bolstered by that. Can see at the moment, Immunity a little bit scattered in the sense that they've got B presence, but not much else. They've got to be very wary of the potential for a player to have pushed A. Obviously, we can see that Vox Eminor haven't done that. They're still playing 2 in the A site. But I think the silence and their lack of information from an immunity perspective would be deafening in that regard. You can see all 4 members slowly now making their way towards mid, I should say. 2 at the bottom of mid, 2 at the top of mid. But they'll shortly regroup and perhaps go mid on towards A. So probably a good thing that Vox didn't push in that sense. They will now be tested at A. You can't help but think.
You can't help but think as the scenario is tick 3 ahead. Ricky picks up an AWP frag there onto Sicko in A, and now that releases Sniper on the stairs. Cossie's able to pick him up there without taking too much damage at all. So RBZ lay in wait here at the van. Doesn't quite get his corner checked, and now will fight. Backed up by his teammate, picks up that second frag as well on the site, and now this is the momentum, perhaps, shift that Vox Eminor need. They do need to string more rounds together, though. Obviously, they won the first 4 rounds, lost the next 3, and this is their first round, and this could either make or break them potentially, as they did have to drop a few members there.
Great positioning from RBZ and B. I don't think he really needed to jump up. I think he was taking his life in his hands when he did, because you could see he didn't have much vision as he did so. But great work in really helping to close out that round with a nice 2k and an assist. But look at the aggression here from Immunity. Sicko does well to get 1 frag, but Ricky on the lurk. Not really renowned for his lurking skills, but he can probably fill any role for the team and does a fantastic job there of getting 2 frags a day. And just as you cautioned, Jim, that this might be a make or break round for Vox, it's looking like the latter in the sense that they've already lost 3 members. Nova does a good job, and RPZ though, so they've turned it around. We're down to a 2-on-2. But you can see James's position here. He's surely going to catch RPZ off guard, and does just that as strolls around the corner of Checkers and now has time and probably suspects that Nova will be making his way in shortly after from Checkers himself.
Yeah, Nova just cautious here. He knows one's close. Does find James in that shop, and now just has to contend with Sniper here in the site, and neither are really cautious about the way that they're playing it. Takes a big gamble going at that window, and will Sniper peek at the right moment? They are just dancing around that pole as Sniper does know he's moved his way around, but Paris 2K, the man they call Nova, just showing us that the youth and vibrancy he possesses comes through for Vox Eminor. They're crucial though, but I still see this being a testing round for Vox Eminor with that economic situation.
I think that round, though, would give them a lot of confidence. I mean, not only was that a 1v2 at the end, it was actually a 2v4 in the greater context. So RBZ and Nova each really doing a great job there of turning that around. You could just see that Immunity was, I think, almost spread out in terms of where they attacked in the end, and it just allowed those 1v1 battles, which opened the door for Vox to come back into the round. You can see, I think, Immunity recognizing the fact that Vox, whilst they're winning these rounds, they're only doing it by a small margin. They have opted to force buy here, trying to break the economy that you speak of. Looks as though they are preparing for a set A execute. We can see 4 members here towards the T ramp. Ricky in Palace, where he had success last round, obviously. We can see the smokes. They're now getting thrown over. So they waited about 30 seconds. They will now execute onto the site, though. So their attack is certainly being telegraphed by all those nades. You can see Vox playing quite passively, though. No one too close, so it should allow and quite easy bomb plant here for Sniper if he chooses. He will get it down now. Nova pushes through the smoke, does catch 1 member off guard. He was large last round for his team, but can't quite connect there on the second shot. RBZ, though, does a good job of taking down James before he can prove too much of a nuisance. We're left in a 3-on-3. It's forced for Iron to try and hold this bomb now. 2-on-2. Sniper doesn't have the weaponry he would have liked. All of a sudden, though, it's all left up to Emag and RBZ. They know each other's position. RBZ, he opts to flash, but not push, perhaps. I wonder if he'll regret that, but no, with a brutal shot there. But there's no kit. There's no kit. He's got off it. Has he just thrown that away? Did he have time for that?
No, he definitely did not have time for that at all. Not a 10-second defuse. He opted to go for the AWP and just save it there. So, economic pressure maintained here in Vox Eminor, as you see. AWP going to Moe, but the rest of the team are just stuck here. They're forced to force buy, essentially. That's what's going to come out. As you see, both teams really under precipice with their money management. Team Immunity, obviously the better off between the 2 teams, but this game is definitely in the balance right now. As that mid comes in early, as the cleanup crew just take hold in mid, and that favours IM quite heavily now, as there are only 2 members remaining. More importantly, anyone with any real utility has fallen, as that is a sharp shot from Emag in that A site, smashing Cozzy. And now RBZ with just a P90 and perhaps a dream of salvaging that slight advantage Vox Eminor have, but realistically, it's not going to happen for him as that bomb goes down. Your mic is muted.
Well aware of the situation now. My mic is muted, and apparently in-game sounds low. So right back at you, big fella. You might want to turn up the in-game volume a little bit. But RBZ here in a 1-on-3. He will decide most likely to save his gun here. There's obviously limited opportunities to win, but I'm just flashing back to that previous round there where he couldn't quite get the defuse in time. I mean, obviously couldn't afford a kit. That's the consequence of, I guess, when you're forced to, I guess, play with limited money. You have to make those sacrifices. Do I go without a utility grenade? Do I go without a kit? Will I really need to retake the site? Well, in that instance, it came back to burn them. You can see that Immunity, I think with their experience now, they're going to try and put their foot down on the throat, as horrible and as brutal as a metaphor as that might be, onto Vox Eminor here. They've got 2 rounds in a row. That gap has now shrunk in terms of the overall score as well, 6-5, remembering that this is a CT-sided map, so they're really well placed at the moment. If they can win this match, remember, they will be our season champions.
That's right, and taking their fate into their own hands is probably the best way to put it. They are in pole position here, but Vox Eminor just with a scratchy round, obviously just upgrading a few pistols here and there where they can afford it. Sicko holding a pop flash, and I think that's just key to the way he's going to play his round here over at B, but they do spot out Rick Air in the apartments there as he does fall to Nova. So first blood to Team Vox Eminor in this eco round, but Ustillo does get the frag somehow on Koze, who was mid-air there, and the call has been made. They're going to send numbers over towards the B site here, and that is exactly where RBZ is with that P90, but it doesn't matter anyway because James finds the frag there, and Sicko does his best to try and help his teammate out, but Emag steps up, takes one, doesn't take the second though, so Moe avoiding death, and 4 HP just left there in that shot. They are only on 30 and 4 HP respectively, but Ustillo is going to come in and clean up with a, I thought that was a double, but Sniper picks up that frag.
Great job there by Muni. I'm not sure how Koze didn't make that frag though on T-ramp. He had the jump on Ustillo there, and I know that they'd already got the opening frag, so that could have been almost a twofer in the sense that they would have been in a 5-on-3 situation. Then it's a completely different ball game, but as it was, Ustillo able to dodge and navigate his way around the bullets with great effect, and did get that frag onto Koze and set up his team well. You can see Immunity here moving in towards an A attack. Now the difference here is that the much faster tempo. Last time we said 30 seconds, this time try about 15 seconds. They're already onto A at the moment. Potentially might be catching Vox off guard here because you can see no one in the site to challenge them and no sort of backup at all for them. You can see Nova falling there at the ticket box. James being ever so aggressive. They have complete control now of not just CT, but also the A site themselves. So this is going to be really tough for Vox here to pull off some sort of a retake. You'd almost be questioning whether you even go for it, I think, in a 4-on-3 situation. I think those questions are going through their brains just now because you can see they really haven't pushed up at all at the moment. They're still in a holding pattern at the moment at mid-con and towards that window room area, but they will now fall back. This will be another round going Immunity's way. But I just want to point out that great work there from Immunity in terms of changing up the game pace. That difference that 15 seconds can make, it really just, I guess, impacts from a CT perspective in terms of their confidence knowing when they're safe and when they're not potentially safe. It can just really mess with them quite well.
Yeah, it definitely can, as the CTs were no doubt just setting a way, setting a pattern, and they've really just gone and shaken that up. And keep them on their toes, as all 3 members really need to keep their guns here if they're going to drop effectively for the remaining members of Vox Eminor. So, Sicko, just hearing that Ustillo is knocking at that door, and Ustillo just fades away into the distance. A sigh of relief.
I'm wondering whether this is a similar pattern to Inferno, where we saw Vox putting up some sort of resistance at the start of the first half, albeit for a lot shorter duration. They have got 6 rounds now. I think they finished with 4 last map, so not quite as effective last map. But we saw resistance from Vox, and then they sort of fell away as the end of the first half and second half went on. And at the moment, it looks to be a similar story here, where Immunity starting to get their roll on. You can see Sicko jumping across behind that pillar there with just a nade in hand, so stick to your primary weapon. Will probably be great use to you there, as he does get taken down, but the same thing can be said for many of his teammates. We're down to a 4-on-2 situation, favouring Immunity at the moment. Moe has got a frag there onto Ustillo though, so I think that's just some temporary relief for Vox Eminor here. You can see Immunity, they've slowed down the pace, but it's still forced Vox Eminor into such defensive positions here. And as a result, as they drop Nova there, it's going to completely open up the A site. They know that Moe was at B, and as he tries to rotate, he will take down one, mind you, but there's Rick here, ready to greet him, and he does get that frag. 8-6 Team Immunity.
Yeah, ready and waiting, but Vox Eminor now in a position where they have to buy up with minimal utility, and it's just going to be a struggle from here on out. Ultimately, they do want that last round, though, so they do want to salvage what they can from this half. They were in a commanding position early on, but just not the case now as Team Immunity wrestle back that lead, and they are opting for a very fast mid-take here and sending 2 members up short. So James straight in on point. Sicko grabs that first frag onto Ustillo, but we'll need to contend with James here as he does pick up that AK frag, and Ricky manages to pick up 1 frag for himself as well. So Vox Eminor already on the back foot, and only 1 kit in their possession, which is on Nova, who is over in that A site. So Emag, just with the thinning CT numbers, is able to get himself into jungle and now puts his pressure on towards A. That ticket box grenade almost timed perfectly as he does pick up that second frag now in that A site, and they are falling very, very quickly here. RBZ just left with it all to do.
That's right. He's got 3 members of Team Immunity to try and take down, but with these advanced positions, Emag's quickly going to get eyes onto him. They know exactly where he is. He's already been tagged once, so he's down to 74 health points, and Emag's not content with just spawning him out. He wants to get the frag, and he does just that at 9-6. But I just want to point out, that was 6 rounds in a row by Team Immunity to end the half. It was 6-3 at one point to Vox Eminor. Turning point, RBZ not having the kit to get that defuse. That was the round that got Immunity's roll on. They went on to win 5 rounds after that. So that's the sort of difference, I think. Because, of course, it's not fair to say that Immunity wouldn't have still got a lot of rounds, but I think that would have been Vox Eminor perhaps continuing their momentum and starting to build up that confidence had they got that initial round win, but seemingly fell away there for them.
Yeah, it just fell away for them there as now they're going to go into the second half of this map, so just apparently you've got to up the in-game volume even though it was already up. So apparently I'm speaking too loudly. I mean,
I think whenever you talk, to be honest, it's probably a bit too loudly for my liking.
I think whenever you talk, it's just not to my liking at all. We've had to contend with each other to give some.
Well, that's right. It's been a long season, Jim. It's been 2 weeks. It's felt like a lifetime. We can put it like that.
I think it's been 6 days in a row of casting.
Something like that. 6 double headers, I think, in a row.
Yeah, it's been fun. Absolutely.
11 days in total. It's been crazy. It's been chaotic, but it's been an incredible opportunity. We've had a lot of fun along the way, and so privileged to have also had, I guess, a few special guests with us along the way, making it a bit of fun and giving everyone at home a different insight. But this was going to really now be what should be the decisive half of the competition. Immunity in a 9-6 favourable first half there. It's side of Mirage. They'll now switch to the CT side. If they can win this match, they will, as we said already tonight, they will be securing that first place and that trip to Croatia next year in March to compete in those LAN finals featuring some of the world's best teams, and that'll be at the forefront of their minds. It's important here. Their in-game leader, Sniper, just keeps everyone focused. Everyone, I guess you always hear that word mindfulness and trying to keep everyone in the moment and not thinking too far ahead. I think that'll be important here with such a great prize on the line for the guys. They need to make sure that they're doing the right things, though, to really close out the matches they should in this position. You can see Vox here, 5 armor across the board, so they don't need to rely on their strength of their aim. Immunity perhaps a little bit more daring, a little bit more bold. We do see Emag with the Julie, something that he has made his own here in our Australian scene. Persists with it on the CT pistol rounds. You can see Vox putting a little bit of pressure there on the B side, but at the moment, Immunity, they probably won't mind that given that they've got 3 members set up at B themselves, Jim.
Yeah, they're just preempting that B rush and doing a good job so far as Ricky does pick up that lurking Kozes. So the game is up. They know Kozes the lurker for the team, and it's just time to hit that B site. They do have Emag boosted in there, those Julies doing some damage, picking up 2 frags already and looking for that third. They just 30 bullets being mowed down, and it certainly did make good use of all 26 to get 3 frags, but nonetheless that B site holds strong, and just great work from Team Immunity preempting what was going to be a B stack. As soon as they found out Koze, the game was up. They know the way that Vox Eminor will play.
I'm starting to get very, very nervous if I'm a Legacy player and I'm watching this match knowing that potentially their fates are on the line here if Vox do fall short of getting that victory. They are on a full spy here, so they do have the Tech 9s and the armor. Nova, I think, has sacrificed getting armor to be able to afford a few utility grenades to really, it looks like, support their A execute here, but they don't have to do without too many support grenades. I think it was just 2 in total from Nova there at least, so they will now bust it onto the A site. You can see here that the fast rotations are already coming in. Members such as Ustillo are already at the bottom of mid here, so all 5 members of Immunity will shortly be on the case. The bomb has been planted though, so they've done a good job making the most of, I guess, what was limited arsenal in that regard. But Immunity, they're going to be here for the kill though. They are now moving in very quickly. Sicko missed his first couple of shots though. Might come back to hurt them. He does eventually get one, but you can see it's all a sea of blue on the scoreboard. Moe's the last man standing, does get a nice deed, but the bomb defusers come in, of course. I guess because they're just in a rush and an urgency to get that bomb down. Wasn't able to necessarily plant it out in the open for Moe's liking in that instance. It was probably more important that he just got it down in the sight, but in the end it was ever so difficult for Moe in that position. And Immunity one step closer here to getting the win.
That's it, one step closer to Croatia, the Counterpit finals, but still some work to do yet. I don't hear any fat ladies singing, so just not yet. Vox are not going to roll over that easily, as they do step up with a few frags there. Emag able to trade, and just mid-control slightly back in the favour of Vox Eminor here, as they are going to contest that B site. That bomb still is down in the T-spawn, so we're allowing the freedom between the two sites if they do manage to get a pick, but those pistols are going to need to be worked a little bit harder than they currently are, as Justillo finds a frag of that A site, and now just Nova and Sicko to get to work here for Vox Eminor. Justillo again finding another frag, but now Nova falls unfortunately to Emag, and just again struggling on those eco rounds as much as they are on the gun rounds on CT.
I might just point out, as we move into the first gun round now, I might just point out quickly the work that Emag's put in. He's already dropped 20 frags. Now, he was a late starter to CSGO. He was one of the best Counter-Strike Source players that we had in our community, but he was late to make that transition, but he's really made a name for himself as one of the most reliable, consistent players in the country, putting in a lot of work here for his team to secure that trip overseas. You can see Vox Eminor on their first gun round. They've very, very quickly fallen straight into the line of going for an A execute, perhaps relying on their trusty nades to try and do a lot of the work for them. Immunity playing very close though at a underneath balcony, so you can see the Molotov grenades will go down to actually stop Vox Eminor moving out the T-ramp. Great work there by James, and I think his counterpart there in the A side in the form of Sniper, and also Emag on the balcony. So Vox really haven't progressed too far, and they're taking a lot of damage as they now try and move their way in, but they are winning the duels. That is the good news for them. They have got 3. But Rick here and Justillo trying to put an end to it. It's all down to Justillo now. He's on the flank. Position is known though, and as he sprays with the P90, decides to upgrade to the AK and seals the deal with a nice double as they decide to run into his crosshair. And Justillo, more than anyone, I think, wants to go back overseas. He's been desperate for an opportunity to rip some heads.
Yeah, just that switch to the AK really caught them by surprise, and they tried to pounce on him when they thought he was reloading at what would have been a P90, but Justillo just supreme awareness in that situation to pick up the AK and step on them. Now, fortunately for him, them both lining up and making it so easy.
That's right, Justillo, I mean, one of the best pure aimers in the country without a doubt. I mean, his ability to point and click on someone's head is off the charts. I think that as he starts to develop more as a player and mature in terms of his in-game mechanics, he'll be ever so deadly, but his pure aim is unbelievable, this guy. But they will now, you can see Vox Eminor, they force bought in the sense that Sicko's got a gun, but they've almost all gone without armor in that regard. I was surprised to see that Sicko has an AK without armor. They are moving towards the B site. They have lost 3 members already. Sniper, I like this positioning here. Jumps above the smoke and does spot one out there at the van in the form of Sicko. Drops him, gets an assist onto Nova as well to seal the deal. And Immunity, Jim, they're on the verge. They've got 14 rounds. 2 more rounds, 10 frags potentially.
Yeah, Sicko
and they'll be booking those flights.
Sicko did pick up that AK from the man that pushed underpass, so he did pick up a frag early on. So it wasn't an unusual buy as you may have thought, but nonetheless, a gun round here. Vox Eminor playing for their tournament. Oh, the lifelines of their teammates, or compatriots should I say, in Legacy is Immunity. Just taking these aim duels so early on, and just now blink and you'll miss it. It is just left to the 2 remaining members of Vox Eminor to try and salvage something for themselves in this round. But Moe has been cordoned off there. He was trapped at that wagon. And now just Cozzy, the in-game leader for Vox Eminor, to try and conjure up some magic here. But unfortunately, the AWP of James not able to do it, not able to get what he wanted out of that round. Poor Cozzy, and now it's match point.
Yeah, I think that's been a consistent theme, hasn't it, in terms of Vox not able to get what they want. Immunity really having their way at all aspects of the map at the moment. Having, I guess, being the aggressors and having that advantage of taking those duels when they so choose. And this could be it for the guys. They need to win one more round. They're on the verge at the moment. They've got 2 early frags here. Justillo and also, I think it was James there getting that first frag to open up the deal. You can see Vox Eminor now. They left a little bit of a shambolic situation here. They've got 2 members in mid, one at the top of B halls, and the bomb almost in between them. So while Sicko has got EMAG, they will need to recover that bomb. And I think that's the first objective there that you can see RBZ all over it. So down to a 3-on-3. They know that they must stop Immunity here. 3 more frags, and that's all Immunity need to claim season's honours. James, not renowned for his AWPing normally, but steps around and drops Nova where he stood at the bottom of mid-con. And great use of utility as well to follow it up, to really lock them out and allow him time to reposition himself. So he will move back towards the ticket box here. His teammates, though, they're collapsing on mid-gym. We're down to a 2-on-3.
That's it, and Justillo is lurking close by in that vent room, and they are going to bust onto this A site, and they do have resistance in here, as James does have the info now, and will just try and do his best to resist, but RBZ does pick up a crucial frag, but Sniper is waiting there to pick up the 2 easy frags, and Immunity are our counterpit Season 2 champions here in Australia, and making it look easy in this last match. Vox trying their best, but unfortunately not able to stop them from claiming season honours.
Fantastic. As I hear my buzzer going off, so I'm not too sure what madness is